Hello everyone, this is Andy from the Pixel Pub with my top 10 Legend of Zelda games. Okay, now this is a big list for me. Zelda is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I fell in love with it from the very first game. Just about every single game that's come out since then, I've been waited with bated breath to play. It was a series that captured my imagination at a very young age. I was drawing Legend of Zelda maps. I was drawing different weapons he could pick up, Link could pick up. I was obsessed for the longest time. I got a Legend of Zelda tattoo on the back of my leg. I fucking love Legend of Zelda. We got different pieces of artwork all hanging all over the house with Zelda stuff in it. I got the Hyrule Historia, and I know there's more books too, but got some amiibos here. But let's talk about the games. Let's talk about the top 10 Legend of Zelda games coming from me. Okay, starting at number 10 might be a controversial pick. I think a lot of people like this Zelda game a whole lot. Me, not so much. That is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker on the GameCube. See, I got the player's choice here because I didn't originally pick this up when it came out. I actually, when it came out in 2003, I believe, I had a job, but I just didn't have a lot of money, I guess, and at the time that it came out, I remember renting it and thinking it was okay. That's okay for a Zelda game, which means it's still really good. But the things that held me back from not liking it as much was I just didn't like the sailing. Compared that to like riding around on a horse in like Ocarina of Time or whatever. I know it's just a cosmetic difference, really, but just sailing on the ocean versus riding around in a Hyrule field, it wasn't the same to me. It just didn't feel the same. I wasn't one of them people who hated the cartoony graphics. I actually loved the graphics. I think it was an amazing looking game. I even had the HD version digitally on the Wii U. It was actually one of the games that, if you bought Mario Kart 8 the day it came out on the Wii U, or within like the first month, you could go on their Nintendo Online thing and register it and say, hey, I got this. And you get to pick like 4 different Wii U games digitally for free, and I got Wind Waker HD. Also, one of the big problems with this game that I had was it's only 4 dungeons, which is kind of a letdown. And if my memory serves me correct, someone could correct me in the comments, but there is a thing at the end of the game where you have to hunt down the Triforces in the different parts of the ocean. You got a map, a grid-like map, and you have to pay Tingle to decipher some of the maps to find the Triforce. And when I played this version right here on my GameCube, the amount of money he wanted, I believe I didn't even have a wallet big enough to hold that amount of money. I was like, screw this. That's what my memory says. I might be messing things up there, but that's the thing I always remember from this game. I didn't really get that far in the Wii U version either. I'm hoping that they put out the HD version on the Switch, because I will pick it up. I will give it another shot. I'll really give it another college try, because I know they made some quality of life changes to the Wii U version that I don't think I got really far enough into to really appreciate. But yeah, that's Wind Waker, number 10. Okay, number 9 is another one that's only a 4-dungeon Zelda game. That's Majora's Mask. See, I got both versions here. I got the original N64 version and the 3DS version. I actually got the 3DS version for Kathy when I originally got the 3DS for her after she washed mine in the washing machine with our bedspread and stuff. So we had to get a new 3DS. I got her one for Christmas, along with Majora's Mask, because I'd been talking about Majora's Mask to her. I was talking about how weird it was and how weird the story is and how just kind of like sinister everything is and how just dark the game is. And she was like really intrigued. She wanted to play it. She didn't really play that much. I don't think she got into it that much. And I played a little bit of it too on the 3DS, but mostly I played the N64 version. I actually picked it up on Halloween, I believe of 2000. And yeah, it's a strange game. It's got the weird time mechanic that I don't think a lot of people like, where you have to rewind time every 3 days. And it's only got the 4 dungeons, which is also a bummer. But the thing that makes it stand out more than, say, like a Wind Waker is the bizarreness of everything. Just the strange characters, the strange story, the strange just everything about it is just kind of in a dreamland state. Just it feels like Link's living a little nightmare that he can't quite get out of. But I remember playing this game for a little bit, didn't beat it when I first got it, and actually after I graduated high school, I was going to move to Florida to go to college, and I had a few weeks off from my job, and I just sat down and played a bunch of games that I wanted to play. Like, I remember beating Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden 2 at that time. And I was like, I'm going to beat these games I never beat when I was a kid. I tried to beat Battletoads, and I beat this at that time. And I remember one of the things that really held me back was there's a part in the game where you have to go into like a well, and there's all these like gitbos, I think they're called, like the mummy looking things, and they want items. They want items for the thing, and they're, due to the time rewinding thing that you have to do, the items are your consumable items are all, they disappear when you restart the game. So when you restart a save on Majora's Mask, you don't have anything. You don't have any consumable items. So that's what they wanted, and I had to go throughout the game and pick up all this stuff just to get to these fucking mummy things, and I was like, man, this is boring. But that's what held me back. But then when I sat down to play it as a little bit older teenager, I beat it, and I actually had all the masks. I got the Fierce Deity mask and was able to fucking wail on the final boss like nobody's business and just beat the shit out of it. And yeah, it's number 9, Majora's Mask. It's fucking weird. If you like weird shit, give it a try. Okay, number 8 is a game I think might be higher or lower, depending on if I play it again. It's a game that I played when it first came out, and I haven't played it since, and that is Twilight Princess on the Wii. I've only ever played it on the Wii, so I've only ever played it with the waggle controls. I haven't played the Wii U version, the HD version, and I haven't played the GameCube version, which I've had a couple of different chances to pick it up over the years, and I haven't. I would love to play this game with buttons, just to actually see what that's like and play it in, I guess, this appropriate context, because in this game, the Wii version is famously flipped. The entire world is flipped because Link is canonically left-handed. And when they put out the Wii version, they were like, well, 90% of humans are right-handed, so instead of making anything different, they just flip the entire world, so Link is right-handed. But in the other versions, he's left-handed still, and the entire world's flipped. So just like Wind Waker, I'm praying that they do a Switch version of the HD version, because I'll absolutely pick it up. I'm not missing out on it again, because I really, more than Wind Waker, I want to play this game again, because I remember really enjoying it. I remember really liking it, but it has to be a little on this list because it is so, I only played it once, and it is so stuck in the time. It's stuck on the Wii for me. Like, I don't know if I want to do it again with the waggle controls. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with that stuff. So yeah, I'm praying for a Switch version so I can give this another shot. Maybe after that it moves up the list. Maybe it moves down the list. Who knows? I think it might move up. I just have super fond memories of Twilight Princess. But yeah, that's number 8, Twilight Princess. Okay, number 7 is the first portable game on this list. That's Link's Awakening. I had the Game Boy version back in the day. I had Game Boy. The original Game Boy was a unique experience for me because it came in waves with the games I would play. Like, I had it originally, and I played a few games, Super Mario Land 2, and then I put it down, didn't think about it. Then a few years later, I remember it might have been a re-release of Link's Awakening that I picked up because I was just in the super big Zelda mood, and I wanted to play it. And I played Legend of Zelda, and I played maybe a few more games, and then years later went by, and then Pokemon came out. I played that with some of my friends, and that was fun. But yeah, this is the mid-period Game Boy era for me, and I remember really liking it. Just like Majora's Mask, it's kind of strange, not as fucking dark as Majora's Mask, but it is like, it's Link's Awakening. Spoilers, he's dreaming, but it is, you're literally living a dream with Link there, and Koho Island, I believe that's what it's called. But yeah, it's really good on the Game Boy, but it is even better on the Switch. I picked this up the day it came out, and the corresponding amiibo, I had to have it. I fucking adore this game. It's one of those games that, pick up on the Switch, sit down, 2 days later, it's done. I'm like, man, that flew by. What a great game. I am, once again, talking about more Switch sports. I'm praying that they do Oracle of Ages or Oracle of Seasons. I know those were Capcom developed games that might be a little bit difficult. I have one of them. I think we have Oracle of Ages on the Game Boy Color. Don't have the second one. I've never really given them an honest shot. Same thing with like Minish Cap on the Game Boy Advance. I've only played a little bit of. I think I would really like them. I hope, God, man, just take these graphics, because that's what they did with the Game Boy Color versions of Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. They're just fucking taking the same sprites and making a new game out of them, basically. There was a handful of new sprites, I'm sure. But just do it again. Do it with this. I'd buy both of them. Day one. Number 7, Link's Awakening. Okay, number 6 might be a controversial one here. I imagine it's number 1 on a lot of people's lists. But the top 5 are all stupid heavy hitters for me, and this is a game that I didn't really get into playing until a little bit later in life, after it came out. And that is A Link to the Past. Now, A Link to the Past is an amazing game. It is awesome. But as far as playing the games at the time they came out and the impact they made on me, the top 5 are better for me in that respect. And that's a weird way to judge a game, I'm sure you're probably saying to yourself, but it just had to sit in the middle. Now, speaking of Switch remakes, I would love to see this redone in a Link's Awakening style. Maybe with not as, toy-like graphics, maybe with a bit more of a, I don't know, maybe a, what is that? What do they call it? The 2D HD or whatever that Square does with Octopath Traveler and such. And they're doing the Dragon Quest III remake. Maybe that's type of style. Maybe might be fun. But yeah, Link to the Past started the formula that would go on to like Twilight Princess, that starts out with, hey, here's 3 dungeons, do them. Oh shit, you're at the end. No, you're not. Here's 5 more. And that's a fun little thing. It's got an amazing soundtrack. It's got amazing graphics for Super Nintendo. I love going up to like in the Light World and Death Mountain, where you can look down and see the trees and the clouds and stuff like that. And going into the Lost Forest and the fog and everything, and the music that plays, and all the little animals running around when you go pick up the fucking Master Sword. It is. Now I'm like, man, should this be number 5? Yeah, probably. It should be number 5. I hate to say it. This was a tragic list to make for me. But this is where it sits. It's where it sits. That's Link to the Past. Number 6. Number 6 on the list. Okay, speaking of Link to the Past, number 5, it's kind of a pseudo-sequel to Link to the Past, and that is Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. There's an interesting story about getting this game. I got this game. It came out in 2012, and me and Kathy bought our first house in 2011. So during that handful of months, we did not have a lot of money. And I somehow got some Walmart credit. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember this game and Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U came out the same day. And I had my credits, and I was going to pick up one of them. I think I had like $30 or $40 worth of credits, and I could get like, whatever off the games. But I got to Walmart, and I couldn't decide which one, so I just got both. And I felt so bad. I was like, man, I shouldn't be spending this money. So I waited. I didn't come home and play them. I waited for Kathy to get home to tell her that I'd bought this stuff. What should I do? Should I save one for Christmas, because it was getting close to Christmas at the time? It was November, I believe, and that was another thing. I needed to buy Christmas presents. I don't spend a lot of money in November because of that fact. But she was like, "No, let's play him." She got all excited. She didn't really care about the money, but yeah, I remember in that house, there's our old house, just sitting down on the couch with this game, and just like fucking Link's Awakening, just time flew by. 2 sittings later, I was done. I was blown away. I really need to give this another replay sometime. We still got our 3DS. It's still kicking. I still play it from time to time. It's a fucking great game. It's just so streamlined, so good. It takes the Link to the Past formula and kind of flips it on its head. It's like, hey, go whatever dungeon you want to. Do whatever you want to. Buy. You don't have to pick up these items in a dungeon. Just buy them at this thing. Rent them. Whatever. Just figure it out. And that just fucking works. And it's got the whole turned into a little painting thing, so you can walk on walls and all this stuff. Into 3D stuff for the 3DS doesn't really do a lot for me in most games, but in this one, especially in the dungeons and stuff where you were in multiple levels, It really, really worked for me. Link Between Worlds. Number 5, just Zelda games in general. Just play some Zelda games. They're great. Okay, number 4 is the latest game on this list to come out. Came out last year. Probably know what it is. That's Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I love the Breath of the Wild formula. I love that they took Zelda and made it a open world experience, because it just calls back to the first Zelda game that I had so much fun with. Just that very open-ended, just taking that original game and taking my imagination and exploding out to something tangible, something real. Not real, you know what I mean? You could run around and have more realistic graphics as opposed to the NES. And then Tears of the Kingdom taking it up another notch and making it Banjo-Kazooie as well, which when I played it, I didn't really exploit that much of it in the game. I did build a few things that I just needed for convenience. I was just like, okay, well, I need to get over this thing real quick, so let me just slap together this thing. I didn't, you see the videos out there, people just building fucking Optimus Prime and shit and Metal Gear. Like, that wasn't me. I'm tie a rocket to a balloon and that's it, and I'm gonna fly around. Like that was known about this game, very much so going in, and all like the quality of life stuff was known too, like with the where you can go through ceilings and stuff, and then make the traversal a bit easier, because it's the same map as Breath of the Wild. They probably just wanted you, hey, you've done this before, just let's make it a little bit easier. And one of the things I didn't know about this game, I was surprised, I think a lot of people were, was the whole underground area, like the whole second map, basically, this underground. I know a lot of people love that. I liked it. I didn't love it. One of the big problems I had with it was there are areas where basically the ground would go up to the ceiling, like make a big wall, and I would just think they're like peaks, just like mountains, and I would spend a lot of time trying to get up them just to find out there's nothing there, and I'd be like, man, okay, and I would use a lot of resources trying to figure it out. And I don't know, that's my fault for not thinking it through too well, but that was kind of a thorn in my butt about it. But that's so minor in the grand scheme of things. I had such a great time. It was my game of the year last year, in a very stacked year for games, and they continue the tradition of making great Zelda games with Tears of the Kingdom. That's number 4 on my list. Okay, number 3, we're going back to the original. I was just talking about it. That's the original Legend of Zelda. Got the gold cartridge here. I actually saw the gray cartridge at Playthrough Games a few weekends ago when we were there, and I was thinking about picking it up. It's because I've never owned the gray cartridge of Legend of Zelda. It's kind of, you don't see it that often. You see the gold cartridge everywhere. But yeah, this was a game my brother had on the NES, and I probably played it way more than he did as time went on, because he played it a little bit, beat it, and that was it. But for me, it blew me away. I'd played Mario, like Duck Hunt, a few other things, like, I don't know, Tetris on the NES. But this was the one that just it's like this is what games could be. Like, you could go anywhere. Like, you could, play the game, you can't, because there are some, can't go to Dungeon 4 without the raft and stuff like that. But when I'm 5 years old or 6 years old or whatever, I'm just wandering around, I'm just so blown away. And he had his save, and he was very adamant that I followed the instructions on this game, that when you turn it off, you hold down the reset button as well, so his save wouldn't get messed up, which I think that was just fucking bullshit. I don't think he had to really do that. But I never messed up a save. I did play his game a lot because he just had everything. He had all the stuff. This is his wand, and you shoot it, and it makes the enemies catch on fire. Like, where'd you get that from? And I was so young that I was I couldn't wrap my head around it, of how to actually play the game, how to beat it. It wasn't until a few years later that I did, and it was still held up for me then. I think it was I don't know, Sega Genesis era for me, that I sat down and actually beat the game. But yeah, it still holds. I still, if I sat down right now, I'd play a few dungeons, and I'd fucking have a lot of fun. It's one of the games that I bought on Virtual Console. It's one of the games that I've played on the Switch Online service. Still got my original here. I had 2 of them at a time. I don't know what happened to them, but This is where it started for me. I mean, literally, I might have said it about one of the Mega Man games on this channel, one of the videos. Started my deep love for video games, but that's a lie. It's not Mega Man, it's Zelda. Zelda was it. It just, it blew me away. I probably said that about 5 times now. But the original Legend of Zelda is infallible in my mind. But it is number 3. So there's 2 more that are better. Okay, number 2 is a hard number 2 because it was number 1. It was my number 1 Zelda game for decades, maybe. Sure, let's say that. Almost decades. That's Ocarina of Time. Don't have my original Ocarina of Time. I had the gold cartridge at the time. I got it the day it came out. Sort of. I actually got it for Christmas that year, but I made sure my mom got it the day it came out. I love Ocarina of Time. It's one of those games. Let's talk about the 3DS version first. 3DS version. The reason I got a 3DS was because of this game. I loved Ocarina of Time. They were doing a remake of it. Slightly better graphics. What's slightly better? A whole lot better. And it's got little quality of life stuff, especially with the water dungeon, where you can just tap the bottom screen for your items, and you can put on the iron boots anytime you want to. You don't have to fucking open up a menu and scroll to the right 5 times and whatever. But yeah, I got a 3DS and this game same day for my birthday because it came out in May. I believe like May 11th or something like that. Maybe I'm mixing that up with 2011. Anyway, yeah, it was great. It was great. It took an already great game and made it better. But let's talk about the N64 version. The N64 version was Zelda 64 when it was first announced. I followed online more than any other game up to that point. And maybe even ever, because as I got older, like, I would see games and I'm just like, I know I'm going to play that. I want to play that. And then I would, leave it on the back burner until it came out. And I won't really watch a lot of trailers. I don't really read a lot of previews, all the other stuff. If something looks like it's going to scratch my itch and I'm really going to like it, I'm done. Yep, you got my money already. Just let me know when it's out. But with Ocarina of Time, when it was Zelda 64, I was looking at every single screenshot, loading up videos on IGN 64, and they were like that big on your screen, like QuickTime videos, or God forbid if they were real player videos, because I couldn't get those to fucking play at all. And I watched it change over time, like with Link with his dark brown hair, and he looked like more like Link from the manual of the original game with his little long nose and his dark green tunic, and he's fighting like a dark nut, and there's big splashes of color coming off because it looks like Street Fighter. And then it changes, and he looks more like Ocarina of Time Link, and he's in some woods with a ghost following him, or he's by this little town by a lake, and like the game changed over time, and I was like, man, what's this game gonna be? And it took forever. I think it was originally supposed to come out in 1997, and it came out in 98. And when you're that young, that's forever. That's forever. I was so obsessed with it that I was, Ma, you gotta pre-order it so I know I have it for Christmas. Like, I just want to know. Like, I know you want it to be a surprise, but I don't care. I just want to know, because this is going to be the biggest game in the world. And it was for the longest time. It was the biggest game in the world. And I remember the day it came out, I was in school, and I was in one of my classes, like a history class or whatever, and there was this girl next to me. She was talking to one of her friends, and she said she found this in the gym, and she was holding something. She said someone had dropped it, and I looked at it, and it was the fucking Ocarina of Time manual. Like, the day it came out, it was there in my school, and I was like, hey, let me see that. And she let me see it. She said, you can have it, I don't care. So I had the Ocarina of Time manual like 2 months before, or a month before I actually played it. And I fucking poured over that thing. I was like, I need to know every detail about this fucking game, Ocarina of Time. So now, building up to, it coming out, how'd I feel about playing it? Great. And introduced Z targeting. It was fucking the big open Hyrule field. It felt like this big endless expanse. This is before GTA 3 and all these big open world games. This was open world before all that. Just all the different dungeons, the incredible music, Epona, like riding around the horse. shooting the fucking arrow into the sun to get the fire arrows, the big fucking epic fight with Ganon at the end, the epic ending with all the sages and stuff coming together, and you get to see all your people that you met over time. It's got that great music. I don't keep missing music. It's just, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I fucking love Ocarina of Time. Just fuck the 3DS remake. Give me a fucking full-on PS5 remake. Just do it, Nintendo. Make the deal. Give me fucking ray tracing, all that shit. But yeah, Ocarina of Time. What a great time. And it's number 2. It should have been number 2. It's so hard. It's so hard. But it's number 2. Ocarina of Time's number 2. Okay, that leaves number 1 of my top 10 favorite Legend of Zelda games. You could probably figured out what it is maybe by now. It is Breath of the Wild. And I got here the Explorers Edition on the Switch. It's one of the few games I don't usually double dip in games, especially very quickly. I actually got Breath of the Wild on the Wii U. I still have it over here. Yeah, here it is. I actually got it on the Wii U the day it came out because we did not have a Switch. I got the Switch version actually at Walmart. This Explorers Edition was on clearance, and I was like, man, this is like a bonus thing. Not much is included with it to make it any better, but it's cheaper than the regular version on the Switch, and I'm not going to find it this price anytime soon. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it wasn't $60. So I picked it up, double dipped, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 months afterwards. It wasn't that long. This is still pretty new, but I got the Wii U version first because we didn't have a Switch. We didn't get a Switch until, I don't know, 6 or 7 months after it came out. So I played the Wii U version. This is the one I beat. This is the one I played to completion. I fucking love it. I love open world games. I love Skyrim, Witcher 3, stuff like that. This is one of the best developers in the world, and Nintendo making an open world game that just scratches all my itches. It just the art of exploring and making a world that is fun to explore, making a world that is both vast and dense, has to be incredibly hard, incredibly time consuming. I can't imagine what they went through doing all that, but just the amount of times I started up to play this game, I'm just like, okay, I got this objective, I'm gonna go do it. And I'd walk 5 steps and, oh, what's that over there? What's that over there? What's that over there? And then, 4 or 5 hours would go by and I haven't even tried to do the thing I started to do when I first turned on the game. And I fucking love that stuff. And it just, I can't remember my playtime for this game, but it was easily over 100 hours. I probably put about 30 hours into the Switch version. I did a few of the Divine Beasts and that was it. But, I was very hyped for this game, but when I actually played it, it blew away what my hype was. My expectations were sky high, and they somehow managed to blow them away. The quality and the amount of game that's in here. This is like in the top 10 of games of all time for me, and there's Ocarina of Time's probably up there too. But yeah, this is one of my favorite games ever. My number 1 game, Zelda game. But it's hard. It's hard to make a top 10 list, especially with something that you love so much as Zelda. But yeah, it's gotta be Breath of the Wild, just for sheer volume of gameplay that is also still so good. Yeah, it's gotta be Breath of the Wild. I found myself after Tears of the Kingdom came out, it was like, is Breath of the Wild still it? Is Tears of the Kingdom better? I obviously in this list, I would say no. I would say no to that question. If someone asked me on the street, say, hey, what's up? I'd be like, no, it's not as good. Because something about saying it did it first, and there's a simplicity to Breath of the Wild that I really, really enjoy. It's compared to Tears of the Kingdom. Like Tears of the Kingdom was what it was, and it needed to be what it was, obviously, to make a sequel that's in the exact same world. But this one did it first, and this one just, I don't know. If I was like 7 years old when this game came out, I'd be a Zelda fan for life. I already am, but this is like, I mean, these two together, like, they're like the same game to me. Like, in my head, like imagination-wise, you know, exploratory-wise, all that stuff. It's what Zelda games are to me, and they made that detour with Ocarina, with Link to the Past. They made the detour, making it a bit more structured of, you know, what they wanted the Zelda games to be, and that's amazing. I like that stuff a lot too, but this to me is the continuation of the first Zelda game, so gotta be number one. I've said it a bunch of times, gotta be number one. I sound conflicted because I am, and I'm rambling. So yeah, number one is Breath of the Wild. That's it for my top 10 Zelda games. Tell me what your favorite Zelda games are in the comments. If you have a top 10, give me the top 10. If you have a top 5, give me the top 5. If you have a top 3, if you have a number 1, just let me know. I love talking about Zelda games. Is it the fucking Link's, those CDI ones that are terrible? Maybe. Is it fucking Skyward Sword? I hope not. But yeah, that's me, Andy from the Pixel Pub. That's my top 10 Zelda games. Peace out.